You guys can hear me. Brand new setup. So I need you guys to bear with me for a moment. All right. Today's topic is today's topic is existential crisis. That's the topic of discussion for today, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about existential crisis, and I'm going to do an in-depth analysis on what the definition is, what it means, why it happens, and why it is a thing that happens and why it exists. All right. So for those of you who don't know, sorry, hold on. Let me just fix this real quick. All right. For those of you who don't know, an existential crisis is when someone has full awareness, full complete awareness of their own existence, and not in a good way. An existential crisis is when you become not only self-actualized but self-aware of your very own existence, and having to deal with the awareness of you knowing that you exist. And many people don't have that problem. Many people don't. Many people they don't have existential crisis, or if they do eventually come across their own awareness of being alive, they usually have ways with dealing with those emotions, whether whether it's religion, distraction, um, self self actualization, um, meditation, different ways, different ways that you can deal with that type of feeling. So that's how most people, or some people, deal with that. But I want to talk about the people who don't really have that type of outlet to be able to um, have some sort of escape route or have some sort of grounding or balancing of their emotions in terms of being aware of your own existence. So when you're aware that you exist, you are telling yourself that you are experiencing life. You are experiencing existence. So a lot of people have existential crises. Is an existential crisis? I'm not sure how you say it. A lot of people have different variations of existential crisis. Um, some of these emotions can be very strong to the point where you act irrationally in a fit of um, a rush of emotions, psychologically, neurologically, and it can come to a point where you take your own life, and sometimes it's just a fleeting moment where you feel this dread of knowing or being aware that you exist, and then you kind of let it go. You kind of think about it in the moment, depending on what you're doing that at that time, and you're like, yeah, I had that feeling, it went away, it'll come back later on at some other point in time in my life. So you have um, you have to face the facts when you have these moments of self-awareness, um, even if it is just a fleeting moment, like a momentarily type of scenario, because doing things that are hard or thinking about things that are hard can be quite difficult. It feels like a very heavy load or heavy weight on your shoulders that you have to bear. And it can be demanding, even if you have a lot on your plate already. So, if you have a lot on your plate already, an existential crisis could just spiral that into an irrational behavior, or it can spiral into a mental breakdown of your psyche, your psychological and neurological place of balance in your mind. Um, I've had my fair share of existential crisis where I'm fully aware and I think, okay, I exist. I know that I exist. I'm here and I am alive. And when I often come across those thoughts, it can be either very, very overwhelming, or it can just be a fleeting moment for me where I think about it momentarily and I let the thoughts pass over me, like, okay, I had that moment. Now I'm on to something else because I have a busy day, or maybe I have other things to do, other things to think about. But it does happen. And the way that I deal with having an existential crisis is to have a bit of stoicism. Uh, not just stoicism, but confronting your own shadow, or confronting the bad parts of existence where you often ignore throughout the day. Um, and I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking that's insane. Why would you think that? Why would you feel that way? Why would those thoughts run across your mind like that? And it's because it's just an existential crisis. There's very many variations of options that you could choose from to deal with that emotion, to deal with that um, self awareness of yourself. And it feels overwhelming to many people because they don't know what to expect when they further analyze that part of life. It's like it's like trying to find a good explanation to describe this. It's like getting into a fight. Let's use that example. You get into a fight, and or let's say that you're about to get into a fight, and you're thinking to yourself, you are either thinking, I've gone through this before, this is nothing to me, or you're on the side where you're thinking, I'm afraid, this is a very scary moment, I don't know what to do. I am afraid because I don't know the outcome of what happened after this incident. And then you kind of take a step back. You kind of take a step back, and you start to allocate your thoughts, and reconfigure yourself to establish a blueprint where you can follow to direct you in the direction that you are trying to move towards. And in the end, you want to win the fight, so you move towards the direction where create a game plan. A you create something that helps you to win a fight. Being prepared mentally, mental preparedness. So yeah, um, and it can be scary for many people. It, it's almost like you're confronting a side of yourself that you're not really used to confronting. Um, Maybe you've never confronted yourself and asked yourself, why is it that I exist? How is it possible that I exist? Um, what does it mean for me to exist? And many people would say, or actually, many people would would be willing to ignore that part of their life where they're like, I don't care about that. I don't want. I don't want to know anything about that. And many people will shut down the conversation if you even bring it up because it picks at you like a scab, like you are peeling off a scab from a previous wound that is healing, and you're like, ow, it hurts. I don't want to peel it off. But eventually you have to peel it off when it gets to a point where it needs to create more of that so that your wound will heal. So, a lot of ways that people deal with these existential crises, is that they take very heavy drugs. Um, they use alcohol as an escape. They distract their minds. They have different ways where they can ignore their own intuition to learn more about themselves and what they're made of, uh, why they're made that way, and so on and so on. So, um, one of the ways that I deal with existential crisis is that I've noticed a pattern when I do have these thoughts. I notice a pattern where it's either a fleeting moment where it's just like it comes and goes, or it's a overwhelmingly um, non-consensual thought form or thought pattern. It kind of takes over your mind, and you can feel the energy radiating from just thinking about that alone, and it can be a very terrible feeling. It could be a very demanding feeling. It demands a lot from you, and I've had those moments. I've had those moments where I'm literally just sitting down, or I'm standing up, or I'm walking, or I'm doing whatever my day consists of, and sorry about that. And it happens. It happens, and I feel those emotions um, very overpoweringly, very overpowered, and it's it's something that you're going to have to confront at one point in your life. At one point in your life, you're going to have to confront these feelings and emotions head on and straightforward and direct. Because the more you ignore it, the more you become ignorant to the people that have studied, research, that have uh, come up with conclusions and thesis, 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 thesis. Not sure. Um, but you're kind of ignoring the people who have paved the way for you to have, or for you to be able to deal with that part of life if the if those thoughts ever arise in your mind. And I know it can be very scary because You exist. You exist and you're alive. And you know that you're alive. And you're probably thinking to yourself, how is this possible? How is this possible that I'm aware that I'm in existence? And like I said, you just have to stabilize yourself. You have to stabilize your mind to be able to configure out or to configurate how it is that you want to approach these emotions, this psychopathy or this neurological part of your very existence. So you could wish to ignore it, right? You can ignore these emotions. You could ignore the fact that you're self-aware of your very existence. But if you do that, then you're kind of spitting in the face of many philosophers and uh, many people that have come before you that have had these same questions, figured out some type of answers, and summarize a thesis in order to catapult that for you in the future, so that if these thoughts ever arise in your mind, you'll have a better understanding of how you can deal with it, what actions you can take, how you should feel towards it, and so forth. So a lot of ways that we can ignore this is, you go out on the weekend, you go to party, you go out to a bar, um, you go to an amusement park, you go to take a vacation, you all these different type of things where we can ignore our intuition of knowing or being aware that we exist. And many people live their lives not really caring, not really knowing about these things, mainly because they probably were never taught to think critically about their emotions or how they feel or how they should feel, or maybe they didn't have someone sit down with them or talk with them and tell them, hey, this thing is important. You should probably know about it. And when you live your life not knowing that you can be aware that you exist, you can have self-awareness of your very own existence, then you're kind of operating on you're operating at a level of equal to that of an NPC or that of someone who is ignorant to that part of their life. And it's something that we don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about it because it's you can go mad. You can you can have you could go irrationally mad thinking about this question because those who think about religion, you can almost certainly say that they're mad on a level of madness where you have to come up with this uh, storyline, or you have to come up with some sort of explanation for that uh, paradoxical part of life. And most of us are too busy being distracted by other things. You know, you're distracted by work, you're distracted by studying, you're distracted by drugs, partying. You're distracted by having fun. You're distracted by willful ignorance. And once you figure out that existence is complete, existence is almost in a way perfect. I mean, it is perfect, you know. Even the inconsistency of asymmetrical uh, things that exist, or things that are non-symmetrical, non-geometrical, they are perfect. If they weren't, then we wouldn't be able to categorize or have the distinction to say or to describe what those things are. So there's that. Um, do I think that we're all connected, like a synchronistic type of way of existing? Could be possible. I don't have the necessary research study to tell you that that is what it is. But one thing that I do know is that people are often trying to figure out what it is that makes us exist, or what it is that makes anything at all possible to exist. And the answer to that is that we are perfect. We um, it's like a play off on the Bible when they say God created everything perfect. You know, that's an example. I'm not using religion for this to explain this. That's just a similarity that I wanted to compare to what I'm talking about. So you're almost perfect, or you can you can very well say that you are perfect. You are complete, full circle. So you have a circle and then it's complete. Um, but we still don't know many things about existence. We still don't know many things about biological structures. We don't know many things about quantum subatomical structures. We don't know about macro level structures of existence. We've concocted many possibilities, many speculations, many research, summarization, gathering of information to come up with an idea to say, this is why we exist, this is why this, and that, this is why things are this way and that way, and so forth. And most of it is pure speculation based off our experience or the experience of others who have previously existed and may now be dead or not alive anymore. So there's that. There's always something new to learn about what it is that we are, why it is that we are, and how it is that we are what we are. And that's great. That's great and all, you know. The advancement in many things that we can learn about our self awareness to exist. And sorry, this light is casting a shadow, and it's really hard to see here. Where was I? Right, existence. So you exist. You are alive. You're breathing. You're you eat. You sleep. You get hungry. You get tired. You get frustrated. You feel happy. You feel sad. You have a full range of emotions. You have a full range of uh, psychological, neurological synapses firing at a very high rate of speed, and that is what you have to deal with. You have to look at the you have to look at yourself in the mirror and just think about yourself. Think about you. Use that as a motivating factor to have just a small bit of self-awareness, just a tiny bit of being self-aware. So what I want you to do is go to the nearest mirror that you have. Go to, if you don't have a mirror, maybe go outside, look for some water, look at your reflection. If there's no water, look at a window, try to see your reflection, and just stare at it long enough for you to have this moment of realization that you are what you are and you exist how you exist, and you are experiencing yourself as you are in existence. And once you do that enough times, um, to the point where you start reflecting on yourself and becoming more self-aware to help you, to propel you into a positive thing or a positive outlook for your own self and the validation that you can have for yourself. And say, maybe document it, maybe not record yourself looking at yourself in the mirror. I mean, you can do that, you know, you could, hypothetically, but just reflect on yourself when you do that. Record yourself on a camera. You don't have to post it online. You don't have to share it with others. You can have it on your phone, or maybe you could buy your own camera and you can use that to. You can buy your own camera and then use that to document yourself, your life, and then eventually you'll come to the realization like, oh, that's me. I'm existing. I am a person. I'm alive. There's billions of cells coursing down the veins of my body. And just be aware of that. That's another example that you can use to reflect that you exist, is to inspect your own biological structure, inspect your own body, know what your body is and how it works. And once you do that, you'll have a better understanding of who you are, what you are, how you exist, why you exist, and you'll have a better understanding how to deal with the existential crisis that you might be dealing with. And many people attack others. A lot of people will attack you because they're not self-aware of themselves. They're not. They don't care to learn about their body. They don't care to learn about their existence. And usually that's a projection outward of themselves and their inadequacies and maybe their shortcomings and things that they don't know about themselves. And that's the way that they deal with it. That's the way that they communicate how they feel. And many people will still attack you knowing their self-awareness, knowing themselves, and having a better understanding of who they are. I feel like you'll be more attacked by those people who are more self-aware of themselves rather than those who aren't. Because those who aren't are kind of navigating in a space of ignorance and um, willful blindness. And that can be that can be good for you, because if someone else doesn't realize that they exist, if someone doesn't have the self-awareness to know, they're almost operating in autopilot. So a lot of people will make fun of you because the ones that are self-aware will make fun of you because they'll look at you and they'll laugh, they'll say, haha, that guy doesn't know what he is, who he is, or why he exists, or how he exists. Or even a girl or a woman, they'll laugh and go, haha, that woman or that girl doesn't know how she exists, why she exists. She doesn't learn about what the body, what her body consists of, or what his body consists of, or how their body works, or how their body exists. And that can be very disheartening. That can lead to that person being very narcissistic because they don't have apathy, they don't care, they don't have empathy or sympathy. And self awareness can bring you to that level of understanding where you no longer are empathetic, you no longer have sympathy because you have full awareness that you can control others that aren't uh, privy or aren't up to date with how existence works or how their existence works. And it's sad. It's sad because these are hardworking people. They don't deserve that. They don't deserve to go through that type of humiliation. Because the very people that you make fun of in terms of not having self-awareness are the very same people that, you know, have a significant role in society, in a capitalist society at that. Because these are the very people that cook your food, fix your car. These are the very people that work in retail. They work in construction. They work as a police officer, soldier, well, whatever. And it's very disrespectful for you to play with someone's life like that. You're playing with someone's life to the point where they're providing a service for you. They're providing something for society, for a capitalist society to function. And what you're doing is you're putting those hardworking people, hardworking Americans, hardworking Europeans, or what have you, and you're making a mockery of them. The very people that serve you, the very people that keep money in your pocket are the very people that you are making fun of because they don't have the self-awareness of their own existence, or because they're ignorant of articulating themselves in an intellectual manner. So I'm almost done with my rant. I'm not sure how long this lasted. Pretty sure I've been talking for a while now. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you. I just wanted to help you because I know that there are other people who don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a rat's ass what you go through, what you have to deal with. They don't care if you die tomorrow. Um, One thing that I would like to share with you is that I know a lot of things. I know exactly how this world works. I know exactly what I know exactly what goes on behind closed doors and the conversations that go on in this society, in this pit of society, of the world. And I figured out exactly how things function, how things really are. And they don't like the fact that I know what they are doing because they would have never thought that I would learn how this world works and how they conduct business and all their secrets of how everything is it's hard to articulate because I've said things online before and they've shut me up. Like they've either deleted comments, they've either banned my accounts to censor me from telling you how things are and how this world works. And it doesn't work. The more you censor me from speaking, from saying things that I'm able to say freely, it doesn't work. Because there's always someone who will take this information that I have, that I'm giving to you, and they'll run with it. And they'll share it with others. And then those people will know. And then they share it to other people. And then those people will know. And back and forth, back and forth. So you can try to censor me all you want. You can try to block my accounts. You can try to delete my comments. You can try to delete some of the videos that I've posted before online. You can try to, you can do so many things to censor my freedom of speech, to censor what I would like to convey and articulate in words to the world. But it doesn't work. And now you know. And now you've seen that it doesn't work. But you keep doing it. You keep you keep trying to close me off. I may not be saying to the full extent or explaining what you are doing and how it is that you are manipulating people. But eventually, I'm gonna get big enough and I'm going to start to get noticed by others where you won't be able to shut me down anymore. You won't be able to censor my speech. It's gonna come to the point that I become so influential, so massive, so grounded and integrated into this space form of communications that you won't have any other choice but to listen to what I have to say. And that time may come sooner than you thought because I'm not losing traction. I'm gaining traction actually. It's quite the opposite of what you're trying to do. You're trying to censor my speech and it's not working out good for you. It's not. Although you may think that you have me at a stalemate, you can't deny the fact that even before I become more influential than I am now, I have had a huge impact, a huge influence on modern society. And I know that scares you. I know that that makes you afraid, as you should be. If my white ancestors were to um, see the way that the world is now, they would shut you down so fast. You wouldn't even be a thing. If my white ancestors were to, if my white ancestors or my European ancestors were to see the shit that's happening now, they would laugh in your face. They would laugh in your face and they would make fun of you in such a profound way. They'd look at you and say, "You're a fucking buffoon. You are a fucking clown." Because white people today, in today's modern society, have become the butt of the joke. Because you have let multiculturalism and integration of races and forced diversity, you have let these things consume white society. And if your white ancestors and my white ancestors and your European ancestors and my European ancestors were to look at the state of the world today, they would make fun of you. They would take you out onto the street and hang you, or possibly worse, torture, ridicule, humiliation. They would look at this modern society and they would feel ashamed of what they died for. They would feel ashamed that they even fought in a war for this, for society to become like this. And they would feel sad for you. They would be embarrassed at the buffoonery of your actions. They would ridicule you so much. They would look at you in disgust and they would probably outcast you into exile. And that's what white society doesn't understand. That's what the European society does not understand. Is that the world is laughing at you. They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. Because you're fighting amongst yourselves. You're fighting amongst your brothers, your own skin, your own flesh and blood, rather than to fight against an enemy that has been trying to crush you, an enemy that has been longing to keep society the way that it is running, today's modern society. But that was a small rant. It has nothing to do with the topic that I was talking about. I know I went a little bit dark, on the darker side of that, but I just wanted to make my point across. I guess you can say that's my sponsorship. You can say that that's my advertisement. That I have my own advertisement and sponsorship too. If nobody's gonna be sponsored by racism, then I guess I'll have to advertise and sponsor my own racism. But yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to share with you. I know it was a bit off topic, but you know, I don't always have to stay on track talking about the same thing. So yeah, existential crisis is something you have to deal with. You know, it's something that you. Oh shit. It's something that you will come across in your life, in this lifetime, and you choose to deal with it however you wish, however you would like to deal with that. You know, you will always have constant reminders, or you will always have that constant thought of existential crisis, and it's something you have to deal with when that time comes. Maybe you want to delay the process, which is fine. You know, there's many times where I didn't want to confront my own existential crisis, but now I have a better understanding and can deal with it when that thought arises. But yeah, I'll leave you with that. Um, and enjoy your weekend. You'll have many more weekends to look forward to. So just go out and enjoy yourself. You know, sometimes a little bit of distraction from your existence is healthy. It can be healthy. Whether you take a walk, play a video game, or read a book, or learn something new, that's always useful. So take care and stay focused on yourself. Ultimately, you're the only person you have at the end of the day. I thank you for joining, and I'll see you next time.